Hello, in this video we are going to be looking at a higher GCSE maths question involving a quadratic simultaneous equation. So this is our question, and it is very common for it to just have that question at the top and then at least a page of blank space for you to do your working. So we're going to solve algebraically the simultaneous equations. So first thing we're going to do is we've got one linear and one quadratic. So we want to rearrange this linear equation so that it's x equals or y equals. The reason for that is because we want to substitute this value into the quadratic. So I'm going to go with rearranging to make it as x equals, but if you do y equals, that's also absolutely fine. So when I rearrange it, I have got x equals, now this is from a calculator paper, so I'm going to leave them as fractions because I'm going to have to subtract 4y and then divide by 3. I'm going to write them as two separate fractions. So instead of writing it as I'm going to separate them out because it's going to make it a lot easier when we are substituting it in and having to collect like terms and so on. So I'm going to keep them as fractions because they will not be accurate as decimals. So we need to keep these as accurate as possible. Right, now what we're going to do is substitute this in to the quadratic. So we end up with and that is all squared. And then the rest of the quadratic is the same as we can see in the question. So we've got minus 4y squared equals 9. Perfect, right. So what we need to do now is we need to expand out this as a double bracket. So, and then we'll put it back into the minus 4y squared equals 9 part. So when we expand that out as a double bracket, you will get 49 over 9. Remember to use your calculator to check your numbers because you've got to use your resources that you have available to you, and this is from a calculator paper. Minus 28 over 9 y plus 16 over 9 y squared, and then I'm going to add on the minus 4y squared from the question, and that is equal to 9 as given to us. Now what you could do is now start to collect the like terms together. Because you have a calculator, you can check the addition and subtraction of any fractions. But to make our life a little bit easier, what I'm going to suggest that you do is, because all of these denominators are 9, what we can do is multiply every term by 9. Now, if we do that, so I times every term by 9, it will get rid of all the fractions and it just makes it a little bit easier and nicer to work with. So we have now got 49 minus 28y minus 28y plus 16y squared minus 4y squared equals, oh, not minus 4y squared, sorry, that's my fault, 36 and 81 on the end. Can you see here, and I nearly made that mistake myself, make sure that you remember to multiply every single term, not just the fractions. Now what you're going to do is collect the like terms together, and we're going to make it equal to 0. The reason why we're going to do that is because we're going to have to find values for y. Now in a simultaneous equation question, if you have got a quadratic, you'll get 2 values for x and 2 values for y. So you'll have 4 answers overall. So when we collect these together, make it equal to 0, you will end up with 0 equals 20y squared plus 56y plus 32. I would then suggest that you divide each of these by 4, just to simplify down the quadratic. Now, you have got options here because it's a calculated paper. You can factorise or you can use the formula. Whichever one you would like to do is absolutely fine as long as you're showing you're working. Now, if I divide them all by 4, it's just a bit nicer to factorise if I'm going to go with the factorising method. Now, I'm not going to go through every single step with the factorising. Hopefully you are confident with factorising when the coefficient is greater than 1. If not, then I would suggest that you look at another video where it does speak about the factorising. So we have got 5y plus 4 and y plus 2 equals 0. So that now means our two values for y is going to be y minus 4 over 5 and y minus 2. So this is just solving from a quadratic is what we're doing at this step. So I'm going to write this over here. And then all you're going to do is substitute this fraction in and this whole number into this equation here because it's already x equals. So it will give us our two values for x. Use your calculators, don't make your life more difficult than it needs to be. So for this one, x comes out as 17 over 5. I would leave them as fractions, it's more accurate. They haven't asked us to do any rounding. And then for this one over here, we have got x equals 5. And that is your 4 answers.